Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Drish. Today in our channel we're going to be discussing about the September issues of Vogue India, and let's get started. So Vogue is a monthly fashion and lifestyle magazine that covers a range of topics including fashion, lifestyle, culture, beauty and runway. It started as a weekly newspaper back in 1892, which is 128 years ago, before becoming into a monthly magazine years later. British Vogue, that was launched in 1916, was the first international version, and as of today we have 26 international versions. Vogue India is a 17th edition, and it was launched in the year 2007, and the first issue was for October 2007. It is a 100% subsidiary of International Condé Nast. Priyanka has been the editor-in-chief of Vogue India, and Nair has been the fashion director of Vogue since its launch. And on the first cover, we had Priyanka Chopra, Gamma Award, and Bipasha Basu on the main cover, and Monikankana Datta, Pretty Zinta, and Lakshmi Menon on the gatefold cover. You may have heard about R.J. Cutler's 2009 documentary, The September Issue, which introduced the world to Anna Wintour and the enormous work that goes behind making the September issue. The film generated major buzz around the magazine, and some people even considered it as the Bible of fashion. So if you're somebody who is interested in knowing how a fashion magazine works or what are behind the scenes, you should definitely go check it out. So September is like the new beginning. It marks the end of summer and everybody is back to work, and it is one of the most important month in the fashion industry, and for fashion people it is even more important than the new year. It is a big shopping time. People are treating their wardrobe from spring, summer to fall, winter, and also the fashion week starts around this year. So brands know how important this time is because fashion industry received the highest amount of attention during this year, and this is basically the main reason behind the September issue being the most anticipated one. But are these reasons applicable for India, because India doesn't necessarily have an autumn season? Well, yes, it is important to us because this is the time when India celebrates the most number of festivals, or the festivals where, or this is the time when India experience its festival season and also the wedding season. So for us it is also equally important. So speaking about the cover star, it is one of the most important part of the magazine because it is that detail that will make people buy the cover. So back in the 1920s, the cover began with illustrations, and then they simply moved to regular model, creasing the cover with latest style reflective of their time. During the 80s and the 90s, we could see the supermodels like Naomi Campbell, Christy Turlington, Cindy Crawford, and Linda Evangelista. And then in the 2000s, we can see this shift in trend to celebrities. Today, the cover stars are those who have a certain clout in them and are and they have something important to say and are very selective with their chosen press, and they are having a moment of them. And India specifically follows this criteria in choosing their cover stars. So without much delay, let's get into Vogue India's September issues. So the first Vogue cover, we have Priyanka Chopra. The photographer is Fabio Sejola and the stylist is Anita. She is wearing a Louis Vuitton Fall 2008 by Marc Jacobs, and I think personally this has to be one of the iconic Vogue India covers, besides being the fact that it is the first Vogue cover. But the hairstyle in the cover is the most talked about hairstyle in that time. So in the beginning of 2010, Priyanka Chopra gave us 4 films, but none of them did good in box office. But later that year she gave us Fashion and Dostana, and those were the biggest hits during that year. And it is also said that fashion kick-started female dominated films in the industry, and Priyanka Chopra also won a Filmfare for the same. There is a very interesting thing about this magazine because this magazine cover and the cover's shoot was related and linked to the movie Fashion, where the model reaches her height or the status of a supermodel. She's given a solo cover of Vogue India, and it shows how important a solo magazine cover is for a model. But in reality, the cover is worn by, or it's given to an actress, and I can see a bit of hypocrisy here. because in the cover it is written, in the movie the same cover is used, but there it is written the rise of a star supermodel, and it kind of shows in the movie how Vogue helps, or kind of helps a model to become to help a model become a star. But in reality, Vogue doesn't really help any model to become a star. I mean, we cannot deny the fact that Vogue India have put many Indian models on the cover. Not many, but very countable. But those models specifically works outside India and not in India. So those models who work in India, in Indian designer shows, or are seen everywhere across India, I have never seen any such model on the cover of Vogue or a solo cover of Vogue, and it is very sad. And we wish to see more Indian models working in India to be on the cover of Vogue. At least one issue per year, or one is too less, I think. At least 2 to 3 issues per year should be an Indian model on the cover. Next on the cover we have Gisele Bündchen. The photographer is Patrick Demarchalia. She is styled by Nair and she is wearing a Balmain tweed jacket with crystal bow and a Tarun Tahiliani bikini. And I think it is a great cover, and because even if it's a Brazilian model with a bikini, she still looks very Indian. The styling, the mixing of Indian elements and foreign elements is very evident here with the Indian jewelry or the color of the bikini for that matter. And I think she looks stunning, and I think this is one of the and it's a very great magazine cover. Gisele back then was one of the highest paid supermodels in the world, and also back in the day she recently got retired from her Victoria's Secret Angel contract around the same time, 2007-8. Also prior to that year, in 2008, she appeared on the cover of Vogue with an NBA player, LeBron James, which got a lot of backlash because somehow the cover resembles a vintage King Kong poster, and Elle was a bit in the media around that time, and I think putting a supermodel of that status on the cover is very smart of Vogue India because it increases the reach. But in the same year, Naomi Campbell came down to India and worked for Lakme Fashion Week, and she raised funds for the 26/11 terror attack. And I think instead of Gisele, they could have also put Naomi on the cover, because Naomi actually did something for India that year, and Naomi has never been on the cover of Indian Vogue for I don't know what reason, but yeah. Here she is wearing a Sabyasachi Bandhani overshirt jacket dress, or with the big bracelet. Bandhani, for those of you who don't know, is a traditional tie-dye technique in India and is famous across India. Look 2, she is wearing a Suneet Verma sequin sari styled by Nair, and this by far is one of the most famous pictures of Gisele Bündchen wearing a sari. 2010, we have Bipasha Basu on the cover of Vogue. The photographer is Suraj Natarajan, the stylist and Nair Tijaniya, and she is wearing a fall 2010 Zuhair Murad. I mean, again, a great choice to put Bipasha Basu on the cover star, although I'm not a big fan of the cover because somehow it looks, the background is crawling over her hands and it kind of looks very basic. And we can see there's a reference to the 1950s in her hairstyle. The look of the cover, we can kind of say that they were trying to create an image for her, like a bit a dark image, because in her upcoming years she was about to do her horror films, and maybe that could be a reason. But otherwise, considering it is Bipasha, they could have given much better outfits and a more experimental shoots for her. Back in the days, Bipasha was a big name in the modeling industry. She started modeling in late 90s and she was a huge name. She was also a big name in the film industry. She became a successful actress, winning a Filmfare for Best Debut. And in 2010, Bipasha had 3 films. So putting her on the cover was great. But here we can see she's wearing an Oscar de la Renta dress. And as soon as they put on the jewelry on her neck, it became very basic. Next, she is wearing a Dolce & Gabbana 2010 dress I'm not sure if it's a dress or a lingerie, but again, she looks very, the way it is presented or styled with nothing on her hair, and it looks like a lingerie to me now. I think she has something on her hands, a bracelet kind of a thing, but not sure. Here she's wearing a Miu Miu Fall 2010 dress, and the dress looked better on the runway with the color. I don't know why it became dull here on the magazine, but apart from the hair and makeup, the outfits were very meh. Next up, we have Nargis Fakhri on the September cover 2011. Photographer is Fabio Sejola. The fashion stylist here is Soria Dayani, and she's wearing a Versace Fall Winter 2011 dress, which was worn by Isabelle on the runway. And the only thing I have to say about this cover is this looks like a Forbes cover and not a Vogue cover. And I don't really understand how her lips is syncing with the dress, or her bracelet is syncing with the dress. And for those of you who don't know, Nargis Fakhri started her modeling career at the age of 16. She was also there for Cycle 3 and Cycle 2 in America's Next Top Model back in 2004. And she subsequently modeled for freelancing here and there, and in 2009 she appeared in the popular Indian print campaign for Kingfisher calendar, which was equivalent to the Victoria's Secret shoots when Victoria's Secret was at its height. Her appearance in the Kingfisher calendar attracted Indian filmmaker Imtiaz Ali, and that's how she got a role for the Hindi romantic film Rockstar. And for Rockstar, she got her September cover. Here she's wearing a top or a waistcoat with a big leather belt and a trouser with leather gloves in one hand and cuff on the other. It's a very bad styling. Look 2, here she's wearing a cashmere jacket and a trouser with safety pin necklace and safety pin earring and safety pin bracelet, and I think this is a very cool look. Here she's look 3. She's wearing as you can see in the mirror, she's wearing a dress and a cardigan and a leggings. And the last look, she's wearing, no, this is not the last look. She's wearing a Giorgio Armani jacket and a huge chunky necklace or a choker. And here she's wearing a last and her final look. She's wearing an embroidered Tom Ford dress with a velvet belt. And to be honest, this looks to me as a cover dress instead of that boring Versace dress that was in the cover. And the dress fits her so well. It fits her even better than the model on the runway. And I think this could be a better cover for Nargis. Next on the cover, we have Alia Bhatt. She's styled by Naita Shroff. She's wearing a Gucci Autumn Winter 2012 dress, which was worn by Anja Rubik on the runway, and the photographer is Louis Monterio. Except for her face, everything looks pretty on the cover. Very young, very fresh, very new, and it's a launch of a star, and she looks pressurized, or I don't know, she doesn't know what is on her way to come. So Frida Giannini for Gucci that time said she had 19th century decadence on her mind when she was designing fall. It was something dark and romantic, but nothing cute romantic, but something very dark and confident. But the cover looks very romantic, but not the romantic which Frida Giannini was going for in her collection. But it's good to see how a stylist take and a designer's take can vary, and both can look equally good on their own pairs, and we should appreciate that. So Alia Bhatt was a leading role in 2012 Karan Johar's teen film Student of the Year alongside Siddharth Malhotra and Varun Dhawan. She auditioned alongside 500 other girls, and after losing 16 kg got the role. And for those of you who don't know, this is not Alia Bhatt's debut in cinema. She did a debut in 1999 film Sangharsh, staring as a young Reed Oberoi. Also here we can put another point where, it's no diss to Miss Alia Bhatt, but Vogue India decides to put somebody on the September cover with no previous work. And because by then Student of the Year did not come out, it was about to come, and still Alia was on the cover of Vogue. Understand how Vogue is a bit too friendly with Bollywood, because this is the second time they're putting a debut on the cover of September issue. Speaking about Nargis Fakhri, she at least have some amount of modeling work prior to this, but Alia Bhatt didn't have any work. Here she is wearing a golden Prabal Gurung dress with flowers in her background. She is wearing a silk sequin dress by Blue Marine, and she's wearing Christian Louboutin shoes with flowers again. Here she is wearing a striped silk ribbon dress by Alice Olivia, and here she is wearing a velvet georgette dress by Nikita. And we can see a lot of flowers in the entire shoot, roses especially. Here again she is wearing a silk dress by Jenny Peckham with rose prints all over and some amount of rose in front of her. And here she is wearing another crystal and feather embellished woolen cardigan by Blue Girl. And the entire shoot was based on flowers. Considering it's a September cover, we have seen a lot of florals in the cover, and florals for fall is actually groundbreaking. So next on the cover star for 2013, we have Deepika Padukone. Photographer is Prasad Naik. Styled by Natasha Vaticania, and she is wearing a 2013 fall Marchesa dress. The first thing that catches my eyes when I see the cover is that not so fitting crown that she's holding. It looks too big for her head and it looks photoshopped. Also, I understand they're trying to portray Deepika as the new queen of Bollywood, which she is, because 2013 was Deepika's year after giving us 4 super hits back to back. But I don't think the execution was good enough, because she looks more like a princess who doesn't like her royal duties, with the barefoot and the chandeliers falling, and she's grinning. Whereas when we think about a queen, we think about it in a more relaxed and a more poised manner. I know I can understand people by then was bored of seeing Deepika on the cover of Vogue. This was her 6th Vogue cover. She's styled by Naita here, and Naita is also the fashion director in Vogue. And in 2013, Anaita Shaw was Deepika's personal stylist also. She was styling Deepika for all her events, but I'm not a big fan of the cover story as well. Or everything looks very forced and everything looks very basic, and things could have been much better. And I'm sure the team that Vogue India has is very strong, the fashion team, but somehow execution here is not so much. And this is an interesting look that I found. Among the others, she's wearing a Dolce & Gabbana dress, and I think she somehow looks a bit like a queen or an upcoming queen, because the rest of it just looks pretty and basic. Next on the cover of Vogue, we have Sonam Kapoor. Photographer is Sain Wilstrup, which is styled by Natasha Vaticania. She is wearing a fall 2014 Louis Vuitton outfit by Nicolas Casquier. It's a maroon leather top with a belt and a even if the outfit isn't doing much for Sonam in this cover, her hairstyle is. It is the bouffant, which was a mainstream hairstyle in the mid to late 18th century in Western Europe. It was thought to be created by Marie Antoinette, as she had relatively thin hair and wanted to create an illusion of having voluminous hair. The modern bouffant, considered by one source to have been invented by British hairdresser Raymond Busson. The style became popular in the beginning of the 1960s when First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy was often photographed with the hair in bouffant and her style was widely imitated. The puff hairdo actually became very widely popular around that time in India, across India to be honest, and the same hairstyle to be on the cover of September issue is no surprise. So here Sonam Kapoor is trying to channel a vintage secret agent turned seductress kind of a thing. And it is another great choice of a September cover star at that point when Sonam was making international fashion headlines. Sonam Kapoor was bringing some Indian glamour on the Cannes red carpet. She has by then went for the Cannes red carpet a couple of times. On the second day, she wore a Namika Khanna sari dress in salmon pink, which she accessorized with a huge neck piece designed by her mother Sunita Kapoor, and she wore a Jimmy Choo shoes and a Ferragamo clutch, and this made international headlines because it was one of the major fashion moments in India. At the time, Sonam Kapoor was also the brand ambassador for L'Oreal Paris. Kapoor was on the right choice in getting the September cover, and to be honest, it is by far is the most fashionable September issue for Vogue India. And I mean, yes, and Sonam is Sonam. She's very fashionable, she's very stylish, and here we can see she's wearing a dress and a jacket both by YSL. She's wearing a Tom Ford boots and she's wearing an Hermes bag. In look 2, we can see she's wearing a top and a skirt by Gucci, she's wearing a blanket coat by Burberry, and she's wearing boots by Christian Louboutin. Here she's wearing a Fendi Fall 2014 dress and with a bit furs here and there. And here we can see she's wearing a Dior dress and a Salvatore Ferragamo bag. Here she's wearing a Versace dress and a Christian Louboutin shoes with a Dior bag. Here she's wearing a printed zipped cardigan by Louis Vuitton. She's wearing a leather skirt which is Louis Vuitton and a leather belt which is also Louis Vuitton. She's wearing a Dolce & Gabbana lace blouse and a jacket. And here she's wearing a bra by Agent Provocateur, skirt by Shivan & Naresh, coat by Bottega Veneta. Next we have Katrina Kaif on the cover of September issue. She's wearing a rich shirt and a Dakota skirt by Nicolas K. Photographer is Signe Wilstrup and she's styled by Natasha Vadichania. So here on the cover we can see the 70s bohemian style, and the entire shoot of the cover story is based on a tribe of gypsy women and how they're very free and doing whatever they want to do and wandering around. And here Katrina is portrayed as a nomadic wanderer with a true free spirit, and we are here for it. I mean, this is a very new concept in terms of September issue, which is not very fashionable and stylish, but something wild and something which is fashion, of course. Bohemian is very important part of the fashion, but the way it is portrayed here is very interesting and very nice to see. In 2015, Katrina Kaif made her debut on the 68 Cannes Film Festival Award, and she is wearing an Oscar de la Renta bag off-shoulder gown, and she also was the latest ambassador for L'Oreal Paris with Bollywood actresses Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and Sonam Kapoor. I mean, Katrina was making some international headlines on the fashion field, so I mean, it was pretty good to put her on the cover, and she looks amazing. So here we can see she's wearing a Sabyasachi dress. She's drinking water from a bowl, and it shows how it is very wild and not so glamorous as it is usually in the September cover. Next, here she's wearing a D-squared dress, and she's wearing the same necklace, I guess. Here she's wearing a Stella Jean Fall 2015 look, and here she's wearing a Roberto Cavalli dress, Fall 2015 again. And this is the entire shoot cover story, and I can see the execution of the entire story and the entire concept has been put on very well by the team Vogue, and it worked out. Next up in our September issue, we have Ranbir Kapoor, Kathleen Kenzie, and Gisele Oliveira. Photographer is Ram Shergill, and she's styled by Naita Shravajania. Ranbir is wearing a Dior shirt and a jacket and a trouser by Roberto Cavalli. Gisele is wearing Balmain, and Catalino is wearing Forzo Puglisi. And I mean, this is the most ugliest Vogue cover that I've ever seen. And I completely fail to understand why have they put that dress on Catalino. And I fail to understand everything about this cover. Ranbir is here wearing a Prada shirt, which was very famous at the time. This photo, I again completely fail to understand why Catalino is wearing that and Gisele is wearing that and Ranbir is wearing that. I mean, they're trying to portray Ranbir as a playboy, no doubt in that, and they're trying to show a party with the fashion elites and the fashion people, but it can be seen that it is faked. Somehow the delivery of the photo shoot did not came as it should have come, and yeah, I think it's a complete failure, I would say. And here we can see a lot of models which are both Indian and international. In that I can see Soni Kaur, I can see Robin Victor, and many models here and there. So the editor-in-chief said that she got inspired from the 80s influence in the runway from Tom Ford, Moschino, Saint Laurent, and they got inspired so much that they decided to throw a party for the boy in town Ranbir Kapoor with the most eclectic bunch of people, and the party flopped. On 16, Ranbir Kapoor had Ae Dil Hai Mushkil, and I don't see much reason to put Ranbir on the cover of September issue, although it is a very amazing step to put a male person on the cover of September issue, but at the same time they could have done much better. And for those of you who don't know, Catalino is a Naga supermodel from Northeast India. She has been on the cover of Elle India, Harper's Bazaar, and Grazia, and now Vogue September issue. Gisele, we all know, is an international model. She has also worked for Victoria's Secret, and she has been signed with IMG agency. Next up for 2017, we have Priyanka Chopra again on the cover of Vogue. The photographer is Anli, styled by Naita Shravajania. She's wearing a bra and a sequin dress by Nina Ricci, and this is a very glamorous cover, to be honest. And 2017 was Priyanka Chopra's year, as we all know. She was making headlines everywhere internationally. She was in the Golden Globes, Oscars, Met Ball, Emmy, People's Choice, everywhere. And it was Priyanka Chopra's 10 years of being on the cover of Vogue September issue, and she was in Quantico, Baywatch, and also had an upcoming movie called Kid Like Jake. And she was giving an Indian woman a face in the American pop culture. And in the cover, we can somehow feel she's trying to, come out of that she is getting out of India, and she's kind of conquering the entire world at the point of time, and it's really amazing. In this look, she's wearing a mesh metal dress by Pavon NYC. She's also wearing a leather tasseled wedge shoe by Christian Louboutin, and she's having a fur jacket by Helen Yarmark. And I can only imagine how pretty she would look with that fur red jacket with that mesh metal dress. I think we should have got that photo as well. Here she is wearing a denim embellished jacket by the blondes and a dress. The next look we have is the cover look, that she's wearing a bra and a sequin dress by Nina Ricci. This is the photo that is used in the cover. Here she is wearing a sequin dress and a silk scarf by Tom Ford. And in this look she is wearing a embellished dress by Galia Lahav and a knee-high boots which we cannot see. This look she is wearing a cheetah metallic filled coupe blouse or a shirt by Michael Kors. And here she is wearing a sequin jacket and embellished jeans by Dolce & Gabbana. Next, on the cover of 2018 September issue, we have Radhika Nair and Saffron. They are models. Photographer is Greg Swales and styled by Anita Shroff Adechania. Radhika is wearing a metallized coating coat and she's wearing a pair of bra and brief by Dior. And Saffron is wearing a chiffon long dress with visible bra and brief and bracelet and bells, and she's also wearing all Dior. So this, according to the cover, is fashion's latest superstars, and the shoot took place in Jaipur, and they're trying to show or channel something which is luxury leisure wear, which is very evident from the cover. I personally love the cover. I again personally think that this could be two covers, one for Radhika, one for Saffron, because we do have more than one cover for one issue instead of two of them being together on the same cover, because they deserve a solo cover. I'm not going to go in detail with the dresses and outfit they're wearing, but the shoot is very rich and very Indian, and obviously it is Jaipur. They are showing it in a palace, and yeah, I mean, one small thing I would again want to add here, which might not be so apt, but just because it is India, it does not necessarily has to be Jaipur every time, or the culture of Jaipur or the richness of Jaipur, because we also have a lot of other cultures, a lot of other amazing places to be discovered or represented as Indian. And because again, regarding this, we have already seen Jaipur on the cover of Vogue a lot of times, including the Kendall Jenner shoot. And I mean, it's beautiful, but we can also explore to other places and not simply stick to Jaipur. Radhika is a big name in the modeling industry. She was an exclusive for Balenciaga's Spring Summer 2017 show. Radhika has also been featured in Vogue Ukraine, Vogue Germany, Vogue Russia, W Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, and she was also there in CR Fashion Book. Radhika has also walked the runway for Balenciaga, Chloe, Lacoste, Marc Jacobs, Prabal Gurung, JW Anderson, Zimmermann, and etc. She also got featured in the British Vogue that year for the May issue, for the issue where they're trying to show models were changing the industry, and she also did a campaign with Steven Meisel in spring 2018. And she also got the September issue for Vogue India 2018. So Saffron is another top model that landed on the cover of Vogue India, and she is with Elite London, and she has featured in magazines like American Vogue, British Vogue, Vanity Fair, Allure, and she debuted at the Spring Summer 2017 show in London as a Burberry exclusive. And she has also been on the cover of British Vogue December issue, and she attended the British Fashion Awards as well. The cover story shoot, and the cover you can understand the difference between a regular actress and a model. It makes a huge difference in terms of showing the outfit, or in terms of posing, or in terms of everything. I mean, that's why, it is said magazine actually should belong to models and not random celebrities, even though they have a certain clout or anything. And I would always, go for models to be on the cover than any other celebrity for that matter. So next on the cover we have Priyanka Chopra. She's the photographer is Marcin Kempski. She's styled by Sabyasachi Mukherjee and Mimi Cottrell. She's wearing a blouse and a trouser by Sabyasachi, jewelry by Sabyasachi, and she's carrying a purse by Loeffler Randall. And this issue is a special issue because it is guest edited by Sabyasachi himself, and the location of the shoot took place in Brooklyn, New York. So it is known that the brainstorming of the September cover for this year was done in the Taj Mahal Palace in Mumbai, where Sabyasachi and editor-in-chief Priya Tanna, along with the team members, have hours-long discussion on the issue. And according to the editor, it is like bringing two powerhouse. And according to Sabya, or what Sabya was trying to say in the issue was about tradition and modernity, and what binds them together, according to him, is conviction, courage, and a vision. So I think Sabyasachi was trying to take India to an international level, and putting Priyanka Chopra on the cover, who is a global icon and who is representing India on a global status, was very smart. Even if it's Priyanka's third September cover, I think for this particular issue, when they're trying to keep their tradition along with being modern, I think it is Priyanka who could have taken it off or pulled it off in a better way, and she did, because both Priyanka Chopra and Sabyasachi have this one thing in common, is that they both stayed true to their roots even when they try out foreign things or modern things. And I think these two together working on a September cover was a treat for all of us. And also choosing a fashion designer to co-chair a fashion magazine, that too for a September issue, was again a very genius decision by Vogue India, and I think they should do it often more with other designers, at least one issue a year, so that we kind of get to know more about Indian designers in the media. Otherwise, to be very honest, Indian designers kind of lack in the amount of media attention it should get. Also, one of the most amazing things about the issue is that there is a one-to-one conversation between the designer Sabyasachi and also the very famous Diet Sabya. Talking about the cover, I think it is a very beautiful cover. It looks very luxurious with all those bracelets and the dress and the purse and the rings, and I personally again love it. This time it is Priyanka Chopra Jonas, because she got married to Nick Jonas, and 2009, everybody in India, across India, everywhere, everybody knows about Sabyasachi because he have done major celebrity weddings. First look, she's wearing a blouse, trouser, and a visor by Sabyasachi, and jewelry by Sabyasachi. Everything is Sabyasachi in this. This one, she is wearing a jacket, trouser, blouse by Oscar de la Renta, fall 2019. And I can see she's wearing a X necklace and a bracelet, which is a very famous necklace and bracelet by Tiffany & Co. And she's wearing a Gucci sunglass. This is a very ugly styling. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't look. I mean, please. She's wearing a Sabyasachi sari. She's wearing a blouse by Michael Losordo. She's wearing a yellow boots by Paris, Texas, with a Albata Ferrati hat and with bracelets by Sabyasachi. It is a disaster. end it there. This is another of my favorite looks, and I think this could be another amazing September cover look. Maybe she's wearing everything Sabyasachi, from the jacket to the dress to the jewelry, and she's looking very sexy. The third September cover, we love it, but I would still say her first September cover is by far the best September cover ever, and it is just according to me. Let me know about what do you think, which Priyanka Chopra's September cover is your favorite. So the last issue is the September 2020 issue, and we have Norah Jones on the cover. She's wearing an embroidered Chanel jacket. The photographer is Kat Erlin, and she's styled by Priyanka Kapadia in Mindy Sad. Norah Jones is an American singer-songwriter who have exploded in the music industry with 9 Grammy Awards, and her father is the famous Pandit Ravi Shankar. So this year, we all know how the year has been, and all the international versions of Vogue sent a unifying note of hope in this pandemic-stricken world, and Vogue India September host Norah Jones to share her song, which is on hope. And we all know how music has helped us during this quarantine period, and it is very important and I think very thoughtful to put Norah Jones on the cover of Vogue, or for that matter a singer, because for entertainment or for healing purpose, or I mean, music has so much power in this world, so putting a musician on the cover in this time with the concept of hope is, I think, very thoughtful and very kind of Vogue India. And speaking of the cover, it is a very beautiful cover. It looks very vintage and very it also looks like a cover album for a music, but I think it is to be honest, it doesn't look very Indian, or it looks like those vintage Vogue covers that are in the early 80s and the 90s, and I think I am totally loving the vibe, and it is very beautiful. In this look, she is wearing Alexander McQueen ruffle dress with a belt, which is also Alexander McQueen. The styling hasn't changed much except for the hairstyle from the look which was there in the fashion show. And this is McQueen pre-autumn winter 2020 collection. So in this look, she is wearing a Brandon Maxwell high neck gown, which was fall winter 2020 collection. It was worn by Yasmin on the runway, and this is one of my favorite looks from the collection, and I really like this. And with the curly hairs, it looks totally amazing. I mean, can you see, like, all in the looks, the model is having straight hair, sleeked hair, and Noah is wearing it with curly hairs, and it looks absolutely amazing. Here she is wearing a white leather Fendi dress, which is also another amazing dress. This is the cover look that she wore for the cover. It's a Chanel Fall 2020 ready to wear collection dress. Here she is wearing a hand knit sweater dress by Valeria Gabriella Hearst by Gabriella. Here she is wearing a Victoria Beckham Fall 2020 ready to wear collection with a Sakai knitted skirt, and she's also wearing a hat, or at least she's showing a hat. And here she's wearing something knitted, and she's wearing a Hermes scarf, and yeah, that's all. And I think this is one of my another favorite covers. I mean, it can be called as a vintage cover and something very amazingly nice. So thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it, and let me know in the comment section whom do you like the most, whom do you want to see in the September cover, and all of that. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you and have a great time.